The spirit of innovation is deeply ingrained in America, and Google is helping Americans innovate in ways both big and small. The Department of Defense is working with Google to help secure America's digital defense systems, from establishing cloud-based zero-trust solutions to deploying the latest AI technology. This is a new era of American innovation. Find out more at g.co/American innovation.
Hear that? Spring is here, and the Home Depot has great prices on grills to make this season yours. So if you're working on improving your hosting skills, you're going to want the NextGrill 4-burner gas grill for $229. And of course, pair it with the NextGrill 8-piece grill tool set. Now get outside and show off those new skills. Shop a wide selection of grills under $300 at the Home Depot.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
So many big games, so many concerts on the horizon, so many great comedy shows, so many tickets in demand. But what do you do if the tickets that you're looking for are all sold out? I'll tell you what you do. You download the Game Time app. You create an account, and you use code DAN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. Again, that promo code is DAN. And what I love so much about the Game Time app is they got all-in pricing with a little push of a button. No surprises at checkout, and you get panoramic seat views, especially if you're going to a venue you've never gone to before. You want to know exactly what you're looking at before you purchase. Game Time offers you that opportunity. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. As an aside, a quick PSA to our audience. I received word this morning that Poppy's Domino Tournament has been postponed. So if you purchase tickets to that event, don't worry, we will take care of that. You'll be issued refunds in the coming days. You'll hear about more information on that and when there will be a new date.
Game time. Ooh. I feel like that should be their slogan or something.
Yeah. It was at one point.
They need to.
Yeah, send them the copy this time.
You got to go get Ray Lewis to do it though. Like he's the only one who can deliver.
That wasn't even his, was it?
He did it the best. It wasn't his?
The Bulls?
Nah.
No?
I thought it was Ray. I know Ray was All My Dogs in the House, right?
He might have used Game Time.
But that was Baja Men.
Yeah, that was definitely the Baja. I mean, it's all copyright issues.
The Baja Men are the exact opposite of All My Dogs in the House. The Baja Men were concerned about who let all the dogs out of their house.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something about houses really quick, just because you mentioned it, and I feel like we're not going to get back to it. You just said that like when you had a cat sitter at your house and your cat would scurry about and go sneak the food, that the cat sitter thought, oh, that's just one of those house noises, and we all just kind of like moved on. That's like one of the weirdest things we do as like a society, right? Is like we just like there's noises in your house, and you're like, it's just a house noise. And it's really just because, like, I don't want to deal with whatever that noise is, so as long as I don't know what it is and it doesn't sound like it's too serious, that's just a house noise, and we're not going to address that.
No, it's creaking. Like, it's the changing temperature. Like, I think that explains it, right? It's like the change in temperature. It's wood and whatever expanding and contracting, and so you want me to go find where it is contracted and heat up that portion of the house?
No, I'm just saying, like, I feel like there's so much going on that there's just, like, a certain level of sound that you, like, just allow to occur, and you're like, I don't really need to know what
I was gonna let you off the hook, Billy, but
tell him.
We need to know what your Uber rating is, because you seem like
he's grown up in nice houses. He's grown up in such nice houses that they don't have creaks. Meanwhile,
no, it's just there's always one temperature down here, so wood doesn't get colder or hotter, and everything's like concrete too.
As much as I love your value, the value you bring to the show with these interesting non sequiturs, I imagine that this is not a bit. This is you all the time. And so when you're riding in Ubers, you probably annoy the hell out of your driver because you're like, hey.
Well, okay. I don't like the way you're setting this up at all. I was thinking today, just walking in.
It was his strategy today. Don't take it.
I was walking in today just thinking, because I saw someone doing something. I'm like, that person's kind of weird, right? And then I thought, well, like, to that person, they're normal, right? And like, I'm weird. So like, I'm positive. Me? No, it wasn't you. It wasn't you.
Are you sure? Look me in my eyes and promise me.
No, it wasn't you. Okay. No, it wasn't you. So it was someone that was like running down the street, like going for a jog, doing something. And I was like, that's some kind of weird behavior that this person has. And I feel
jogging was weird?
No. It was a particular, we don't need to get bogged down by this. Okay. So The point is, I saw it and I was like, that person's weird. But to that person, what they were doing is totally normal. And I feel like that's the case for everyone, right? Like, weird people don't know they're weird. They just think that to them, because of their circumstances, what they're doing is completely justifiable and not weird whatsoever.
It's possible. I feel like sometimes I know if I'm doing something weird and I know it's weird. But you haven't told us what they were doing. You said they were running down the street. Like, if they were
I don't want to say what it was because maybe the person works here.
It was me, wasn't it?
It wasn't you, though.
Okay.
Now you got to.
Anyways, my rating is a 4.91.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm not proud of it.
That's good.
It was a 5 for the longest time. But here's the thing. I don't use Uber all that much. I only pretty much use it when I'm out of town. Like, if I'm in town, I drive
That's
everywhere.
not a good thing, though, because the more times you use it,
The higher the number goes.
no.
Wow.
Yes.
The justification that it would be lower because you're basically exposed to more drivers who might understand what you do is weird versus what they think a rider
No, but can I
should
tell
be.
you why?
So few means that, like,
No, it means one bad score really throws it off. If I get a 3, then it throws off my 5 average. I was at a 5 forever. Then I looked at it, it was like 4.8 something. I was like, what
Nothing's
happened
wrong.
here?
but
Nothing's
if you get
wrong
a
with-
3,
Well, I know what
had 5
Can
rides.
you track it back to
I
that
did.
one ride?
You know
I
what
did.
You know what you did.
I know what happened. I didn't do anything, in my opinion. This is what happened. I was in Washington, D.C.
Great city.
I was going around. We were checking out the monuments, whatever, right? Because of where we were.
Gotta get the big bus tour.
We got an Uber, and then the person couldn't find where we were. I guess there was like closures or whatever. So the person had to do like multiple loops around. Then it was raining, so we were standing behind this column. Then they couldn't find us, and it became this whole thing. And I was like, I'm sorry that I'm in an inconvenient spot, like, but I'm a tourist. I don't know where I'm supposed to be. So then I went back and I found that I got like a 3 on that ride. And I was very upset because I gave the person a 5, even though they kept us waiting in the rain for a very long time. Now, I have a strategy on Uber because I know that I can be weird, as you have described me. You said I'm weird.
I said you have weird non sequiturs, which I appreciate.
Well, this is what I'll do. I'll never hit the option to not talk to me. Right? But what I do is I play the game, and it's weird in the sense that, like, so I'm the one that's being driven around, but I am catering to the driver the majority of the time. Like, I try to get the vibe of the driver based on the music that they're playing, based on if they're starting a conversation with me, based on if they're talking on the phone. Like, I try to see what kind of experience the driver wants to have, and then I try to provide that experience for the driver. Just for this rating that doesn't matter, because, again, I pretty much only use it, like, when I'm on vacation. So if it's been a quiet ride because we haven't spoken much, right? What I'll do is I always end on a positive note. So when I know we're like 3 or 4 blocks away,
You say
like
thank you.
No. When I know we're like 3 or 4 blocks away, the information that I have taken in while I've been in the seat, I figure out what is like the simplest, like, softball small talk conversation that I can start with this person that I know will go favorable for them. And I show interest in what I've experienced them doing. So, like, one time when we were like in Chicago or whatever, right? We're driving around. It's pretty quiet most of the time. And it was a Tesla that I got picked up in, right? And I have not been in a Tesla before, especially not an Uber, right? So then I start talking, I'm like, oh, you like this Tesla? Because I know Tesla drivers love talking about Teslas, right? So, like, I waited a little bit. I'm like, oh, like, how do you like this Tesla? Like, I've never been. He's like, oh, I love it. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of cool in here. He's like, it's like, how do you charge? You have a charger at home? Do you go? Like, no, I go here. I do this. I'm like, how long does it take? So I just start talking to him about his Tesla because I know that's what the Tesla driver really wants to talk about.
I'd have gave you a 1 star for that.
No way. The guy loved it.
How do I charge it?
No,
Do you chargers?
Guys, no. Some people have home chargers. Some people have to go to charging stations. And when you go to the charging station, you have to wait an extended amount of time. This guy, in case you were wondering, which you're not, this guy didn't have a home charger because he lived in an apartment. So he'd have to go somewhere. And I was like, well, how many miles do you get when you charge it? How often do you charge it? I just get into what I think they want to talk about. I start observing them, and then I ask them questions on the way out. One time when we were in Austin,
you're a .9 boy. That's good enough. You're in the .9 boy crew, which is good. You want to be.
I want to get it up though. No, I got it. Here's the
All
thing: once you're not a fiver, you can never be a fiver again.
I don't know. Do we have the list before? Because I want to know where he places. And did we get one from Amin and anybody else?
I do. I have them. I have Dom. You were the only two I'm unsure of. You two. You were 4.9, Dom,
Yeah,
and you were
478.
478. I was a 492. Mike 475.
Let's go.
Jess 5.0.
Yeah.
Roy 497.
There we go.
Charlie 487. All right, so now I have 2 updates for us.
Okay.
Tony's a 4.9 flat, which is a little surprising.
That is, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
For the 4-9 club?
Yeah, and then Amin,
big club.
I texted Amin as I scrolled through my text now. This is, not great on air.
Yeah. So let me ask you something. The lower numbers, I'm assuming it's always someone else's fault, right?
That's
it's
no one took responsibility.
Everyone's always like, my friends.
We found out yesterday that Lucy had a dot. What did Lucy have?
She had a really good one, but
496. She had 2 charges of $250 for throwing up in the Uber.
Throwing up in 2
that
Ubers.
She remembered.
That they couldn't have been on her account. There's no chance.
Yeah, those were someone else's account.
That has to have been like a group of friends that someone else got. There's no way that you've thrown up in a car and you have it that high twice. That's crazy.
So Amin, he texted me. I said, "What's your Uber rating?" He said 4.86, but that's with the black tax. So I am probably a 4.91, all else being equal.
Valid. I'll take it.
I didn't want to go into that, but I can tell when I get in the Uber if this guy likes black people or not. Almost immediately.
I can too sometimes, and I'm not even black.
You're not even. And then how do you start that conversation?
What's on the radio?
Now that we're here, finally.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of when you said I try to end it favorably for them. I'm like, you slide a little racism in there on the way out, don't you?
A little bit.
You just open the window.
Just to get that Uber rating up.
You crack the door.
It's one of my icebreakers. Goes, so Obama, huh? And then I see which way they go, and then I know which way to finish with.
Appreciate you speaking English.
So someone who is not getting a good rating, at least not from Ja Morant, is Taylor Jenkins. I want to get into this conversation. He got fired from the Grizzlies, who were in 3rd place and had a really good record. They're considered a Western Conference contender. It was kind of a shocking, probably would have been the most shocking thing of this.
The vote on the tush push has been tabled.
Boo.
Back to you.
So this probably would have been the most shocking thing in the NBA season if it wasn't for the fact that Luka got traded. But like having Taylor Jenkins, a winning coach on a team that seems to be heading in the right direction, and a respected X and O's coach be fired by his team just before the playoffs. I think 15 games out of the playoffs while they're playing well in 3rd place blew my mind. I think some reporting has come out since.
Yeah. So the background on this is. They cleared house of their assistant coaches this offseason, and the new offense ran fewer ball screens, and Ja Morant in this system was not happy with his fewest touches, fewest points, fewest shot attempts per game in several years. He's also a considerably worse player than he was 3 years ago, shooting the ball significantly worse, and it creates a really interesting situation. You have a good coach, you have Ja Morant, who, regardless of how absurd the NBA suspension and over the top was for his off-the-court stuff a couple years ago, he is still an unstable superstar because he doesn't play and he's not a consistent scorer because he can't shoot the basketball. He hasn't been consistent in the postseason. You guys, is it right in the NBA superstar culture to let that guy in that city change that coach?
Yeah, the reporting is that he's out because Ja didn't like the changes to the
It's
offense.
implied.
Yeah.
It's not explicitly said, but the implication is that he wasn't happy with his role in the new offense.
They're trying to figure out the reasons why. That's not the reason why Ja's not Ja, man. You gotta let that bird free, man. You gotta let him. You gotta give him a weekend. That's Dennis Rod. You gotta give him a weekend in South Beach, man. I wanted to ask Steve Williams that about Tiger. Like, you gotta let them do what they do, man. That's just...
Steve Williams looked us straight in the eye and said Tiger had no off-field distraction.
That's great. I didn't want to say it.
Wait, what?
That's why I wanted to give grace to Neek, man, because if we're gonna take accountability, which Steve went on record, he is not for. He is not for workplace accountability. I'm like, okay, we're just breezing over everything at this point.
The idea of the superstar in the NBA having enough power to fire a coach is not new. It doesn't bother me that Taylor Jenkins got run because the superstar wanted him out. I don't know that banking on that superstar, and I think this is what you're alluding to, Charlie, is that Ja Morant is not a reliable superstar, and he's not the level of superstar that you want to give this power to, but he's the guy in that city. And it just speaks to me about being a head coach in basketball, or being anyone in the basketball organization. I ran into this argument oftentimes when people want to be critical of teams that were constructed around LeBron and say, well, don't blame the GM because LeBron's actually the GM. Maybe he is, but your job as the GM is to convince LeBron You know, like you would have thought that at one point your job is to build a roster, but now your job has gotten a little harder when there's someone in your organization who has as much power and influence as a superstar player. Your job now becomes to sell LeBron, convince LeBron it was his idea, or figure out a way. And I feel the same way about this offense with Taylor Jenkins. And so, like, if Taylor gets fired because Ja's not happy, maybe you wish Ja would have handled this differently.
Yeah.
But ultimately, as a head coach, when you're head coach of an NBA team and you guys have a superstar, I'm not saying you have to kowtow to the superstar, but you have to take into account that whatever you're doing, the first person, and maybe the only person whose buy-in you have to get off the top is the superstar, and it doesn't matter how good your idea is. Like, I don't give a shit how innovative your offense is. Yeah. If you ain't convinced him that it's innovative and it's going to help you out, then you lost.
It's age-old problem in sports where you think the title puts you in charge, or you think the talent sometimes puts you in charge. When I was playing receiver in the league and I had other receivers, and they were like, man, you're so happy being the fourth. I'm like, I'm not happy being the fourth receiver, bro. I know what I make. Yeah. Like, this is the most I can be looking at the contracts. And you arguing for touches as an undrafted free agent on special teams, that ain't how this works, my boy. Yeah. You got to follow the money trail. So even looking at Coach Jenkins and what you make a year versus what Ja makes a year, it is not more important for what your strategy is. It only fits in that way of how it pertains to the main investment, which is Ja Morant. And also, you might not have even done anything from your perspective to warrant being fired or whatever, but from an organizational standpoint, we've invested this into Ja Morant. Even if it is like, hey, maybe this doesn't work out, maybe he'll never be the same player. We got to remove some of the factors to see if that's the case. And I'm okay with moving away $3 to $5 million a year to save the $50 million a year that I'm giving this player.
And the NBA superstar is the NFL quarterback, in that you can't win without one. And even if Ja is not the perfect one, he's the closest thing you got to it. And there are lots of teams that are looking for somebody like that. So you thinking that you can, and I'm not suggesting that Taylor Jenkins is like, man, I don't need to convince Ja. I'll figure this out. But ultimately, whether he's doing that consciously or not having him believe in his plan is essentially doing that. And the point that you made about being the number 4 receiver, and they say you show up to practice happy even though you're not getting no balls, I can't afford not to be. I cannot. Yeah, I'm in no position to come in here and try to wave it around and tell people what I am and am not going to do, although I'm not returning no punts. I don't care what you say.
Me neither. I'm on record saying I'm not returning. I've told head coaches, hey, no, you go back there and return it.
Yeah, I don't know what what happens with the Grizzlies going forward. I don't think that they were like a real legitimate title contender, top of the league, even though they were third place. No one was really considering what Ja and that team was going to do relative to the real top dogs, I think, in the West. But the future of that organization, I think, is still dependent on Ja Morant, no matter what, and finding some sort of way to build something, to hire someone and build something that he believes in and he's going to buy into is their only way of going forward, even if Taylor Jenkins is the smartest new coach on the scene.
Is that the toughest spot for an NBA team to be in, though, where you don't want to trade someone that talented because if you trade him somewhere, it's like he could be a 38-5 guy on a random team. But if you keep him and he's entitled to thinking he's in charge of the organization, you might just be a first-round buy every single year for a higher seed.
It's tough.
That's tough. Like having a quarterback who's like the 13th best quarterback. You're like, he's good enough to start, but am I going to win anything?
Tua?
Yes, actually.
Yeah, the alternatives at that position are tough, and it's impossible to find the perfect quarterback for your situation, but you wouldn't move on from Tua. And I think Ja is probably a higher version than Tua, but that's not the perfect.
Do you think he has a better arm than him?
Ja Morant?
Yeah. Straight up, if they started at the goal line.
That's so disrespectful.
Do you think he could throw a football further?
Absolutely not.
I do.
There's no way.
How tall is Ja? 6'3"?
Yeah. He's bendy.
Bro.
Elastic arm.
And he can whip it.
Doesn't he look like one of those dudes who's just good at every sport?
He is an incredible athlete, but there's no way he can throw it farther than Tua. There's no way.
I mean, I think farther, it's like we see the long ball drivers guys, like they're not better golfers than real golfers. But
bro, there's no way. We just got done talking about how you get disrespected every time someone even remotely insinuates
that they could
outdo you at anything. Something that you did for money.
Folks, listen up. They're here and they're hot. Get ready because Jimmy John's is turning up the heat. After years of perfecting the cold sandwich, toasted sandwiches are finally here. Try one of their 3 all-new toasted creations. The Toasted Chicken Bacon Ranch, all-natural chicken, creamy homestyle ranch, applewood smoked bacon, melted provolone, fresh veggies, all on a perfectly toasted French bread. Good God, does that sound delicious. Or the Toasted Roast Beef and Cheddar, premium roast beef, melty cheddar, creamy horseradish sauce, crispy fried onions, fresh veggies, golden toasted French bread. It just keeps getting better. And the Toasted Ultimate Italian, salami, capicola, smoked ham, applewood smoked bacon, melted provolone, shredded parmesan, fresh veggies toasted to perfection. Or take your favorite Jimmy John classics like the number 9 Italian Nightclub or the number 11 Country Club and get them toasted. Order now at jimmyjohns.com, on the Jimmy John's app, or stop by your local Jimmy John's today.
Hey friends, it's Jer Bear here, and I'm here to tell you all about Boost Mobile, which is now a legit nationwide 5G network. So I must take a break from the jokes here for a second and put on my serious voice, because I would never ever joke about a 5G network that has invested billions building 5G towers across the country. Not even once. Not even if Mr. Boost Mobile himself asked me to. There is nothing funny about it. Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network and also provides coverage across 99% of America. Seriously. Visit boostmobile.com or your nearest Boost Mobile store location to learn more. The Boost Mobile network, together with our roaming partners, covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds, not available in all areas.
Hey everybody, it's Mike. 50 incredible years of Miller Lite. That is right. It is Miller Lite's 50th anniversary, and I know, speaking personally, Miller Lite has been by my side through weddings, birthdays, even a couple of sports championships that I'm really lucky to have enjoyed. Miller Lite has made all those perfect moments even more perfect. So cheers to you. I know I'm speaking to a fellow fan of Miller Lite, and cheers to Miller Lite for providing great memories and a beer with the taste you know you can depend on. A great beer trusted by beer lovers for 50 magical years. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. Simply put, it just hits different. And at just 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces, Miller time is always a good time. The original light beer since 1975 and still iconic 50 years later. Miller Lite, great taste. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/stand to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Don Le Batard.
Photography's not as hard as it's made out to be. And now with computers, I mean, you can make anything look like anything, Dan. It's almost cheating. It's not fair. Yep. If you push a button and it takes 1,000 pictures, you're going to find a good one in the batch.
There were a lot of photographers there taking thousands of pictures. One got that photograph. Okay, good retort. Stugotz.
Haven't you ever passed by photographers? I guarantee you when that shot was taken, we didn't just hear... That's not what you heard. If you were by that camera...
Like in my ear with that.
He does a good camera.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Speaking of which, Taylor out there talking crazy.
He was talking nuts, man.
Goofy ass out of here, Taylor. You ain't faster than not nail me or hawking this thing. You stop it.
I have an update from ChatGPT, and now Hawk, I know there's a sordid history between you and ChatGPT.
Come on.
But Ja Morant, according to ChatGPT, can reportedly throw a football about 70 yards.
What?
Wow.
There have been clips of him launching deep passes during warm-ups and off-season workouts, showing off his impressive arm strength.
Wow.
Do they have him mixed up with Ant Edwards? The ChatGPT.
It definitely knows that Ja Morant is a basketball player.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. I think that plays right into what I was saying. Is like, I would not say that Ja Morant is a better quarterback. Like, obviously these long ball driver guys are not better golfers, but like if you ask him to do this very simple thing, he's a taller guy, whippy athleticism, big hands. Like, yeah, I feel like Ja can launch that thing. Now, is he going to be more accurate? Is he going to be a better decision maker? Of course not. Well, definitely not a better decision maker.
It's not quite known for that. But I also don't think he can throw it further.
I asked ChatGPT for proof. And it was prepared for that question.
Wow.
While specific measurements of Ja Morant's football throwing distance aren't publicly documented, his athletic prowess suggests he possesses significant arm strength. For instance, during a game against the Knicks on February 28th, Morant attempted a full court shot throwing the basketball approximately 94 feet. This action resulted in a technical foul.
What are we doing, ChatGPT?
It's 31 yards.
What the hell are we doing?
Yeah,
and now you're spreading this folklore.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
People are taking.
It's
and
harder
running
to
with
throw
it?
a basketball.
Yeah, it is hard to throw a basketball.
Are we kidding right now? You think he's the first athlete 6'3"?
Nah.
That doesn't mean you can throw a football 70 yards.
I think
because he can do crazy windmills.
I appreciate the ChatGPT support, but I'm not sure that I really.
It was like, he's documented he can throw a football far. Show it to me.
This feels
flimsy. We don't really have a video per se. But remember that game against the Knicks? Shut up, ChatGPT. You sound like my Uncle Rick.
Oh, you got an uncle named on something?
He just makes stuff up, man. Like, he literally just, he could do this back in my day. Like, Rick, you're lying, bro.
Uncle Rick probably hate the internet. Uncle Rick was getting them lies off.
Hey, forever.
Uncle Rick been getting them lies off till the early 2000s when people had phones with the internet.
You wouldn't believe the archives I've had to go into to prove Uncle Rick wrong because he thinks I don't have access to newspapers.
Well, I feel like
go find
that still doesn't stop Uncle Rick, though.
It doesn't stop Uncle Rick.
Apparently, we have a photo of the guy that says he could beat you guys in a race. If you guys want to throw up that photo of Taylor.
He ran track. Why are you laughing, man?
What?
He's running for North Carolina. That doesn't mean anything to you as a Maryland Terp, but to me, who grew up wanting to play for North Carolina, he has a baton, so he's on some team of sort.
Yeah.
On some relay.
That's a 400 guy. That's an 800 guy. You might beat me in a 400 or 800. Riding on Taylor in the one.
You think you can ride him in the one?
Headband's wild, yeah?
Yeah,
the headband is crazy.
Absurd.
Especially because he has like a buzz cut. Like,
Let's be serious about this, guys. Let's break this down.
Especially since he wasn't in like the headband era. Like, how old is Taylor?
That's a wild look.
Yeah.
Like the headband era was like 2001.
You know,
there's no way that this was then.
What you also know, and for the listening audience, Taylor has good arm definition, which suggests that maybe he's a pretty good athlete. I respect that he's an above average athlete.
So racially ambiguous.
Bad tan.
So racially ambiguous.
Yeah, what is
I'm even
Taylor?
more confused now.
Yeah.
I would
we
also
think Italian.
say
This is
But that's like a Greek last name,
This
man.
is like a Nike ad to sell the headbands. Like, let's just put someone right dab in the middle.
This is a Mike Tirico situation.
I see some Mbappe.
little bops. He got some bops
He
too.
got some Mbappe in there.
The top is baggy, man, which suggests to me that the equipment manager didn't respect him, which means he was a slow guy on the team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Taylor. I know when, as a rookie, as a third-round rookie, my jersey never looked worse.
I don't know what's happening right now. This is the lightest I've ever seen his complexion.
And he's outside running outdoor track.
But it's also the blackest he's ever looked.
Yeah, it is.
How in the world do you got an indoor season complexion on the outdoor season track?
Fuentes is so pissed right now.
Fuentes, why he pissed?
He doesn't like when
Well,
we
he's
talk
not
about
racially
Taylor.
ambiguous.
The guy in the green back there that he's beating very clearly tells me this was like a B team situation.
I don't even know what is that guy's just wearing a jersey that says Jason.
Does it say Babson?
Just say
when does
Jason.
UNC race Babson?
Taylor, this is not helping you, man. I hope that they look this up. I hope you didn't look this up.
Somebody go mouse split.
He for sure sent this to them.
I
Like,
hope
hey,
you
guys.
didn't send this to them thinking that this was going to scare me.
Is that George Mason? Or a guy named Mason?
I don't think George Mason would be the George on top.
It
no?
would be. That's an astute observation.
It looks like
Hog.
it
wouldn't
looks
say
like
Mason
Jason.
George.
Maybe there's a G. Maybe there's a G on the far side that we can't see.
I've never been more confident in my life that I would ride on this kid.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I don't know.
You probably paid to run too. Are you a scholarship athlete? Did they call you up? Did they send you a letter, or you showed up and knocked on the door and was like, hey, excuse me.
I hate to discriminate
excuse
against.
me.
As a former walk-on, I don't want to discriminate against the walk-ons.
However.
Some of us do have talent.
Right.
But
however,
this does point to that it is not Taylor so much. It is the guy beside him. Because In a 400, his neck shouldn't be back that far. That looks like a distance runner.
Yeah,
that's a distance runner's demeanor.
And body style. Like that guy.
This feels like a 4x1 or like a 4x8.
This might be a
Based on
4x8
who's running.
situation.
This is slow. This is a slow race. My guy got them glasses on. That guy.
The glasses is the thing.
And those are rec specs, for sure.
How bad your vision got to be that you can't stay between the lines? Like, we not asking you to catch nothing, bruh. How bad your vision got to be that you got to wear glasses to run straight? Goodness, Taylor.
Yeah.
Who are you running against?
I like my chances against Taylor in the 100. I did run a 100 last year.
Nice.
This is a look at me Louis situation because it was the same thing. I'm like, I want to see what this is about.
You ran all out?
I did tweak my hamstring. I absolutely did. It put me out. I have not run since. It was in July.
Good for you.
But I did run an 11.6.
Damn.
That's solid at 39 years old.
That's more than solid.
Thank you,
That
sir.
is very impressive at 39 years old. Taylor, you don't stand a chance.
While we're catching up on the athletic ability of people around here, we have video also of Tony playing some league basketball.
Okay.
There's Tony shooting a three.
Bang.
Making a three. Apparently, this is a highlight reel, so it's all going to be good plays. There's some in the corner.
Why are we showing this on a day he's not here?
just
No, I want to see. This is
I would like to see it.
I want to see what we're
Hold
working
on,
with.
hold on.
Little dish,
Hold on.
little give and go.
Hold on. Again, Tony, whatever.
Look at the people he's playing against.
There's a
Tony.
dude on the court with a
It's the
pink
same-
satin do-rag.
It's the same
You
guy
can't
from the track
hoop
photo.
with a satin do-rag on. Get out of here.
He got a stroke, though.
That also looks like a very much younger Tony.
He's a catch and shoot player. That's fine. That's the same point in a one-on-one situation.
Can you create?
He's tall.
Can you create and
care
can you
nothing
stop
about
me from
that.
getting to the cup?
If you ain't 7'6", like he got to be like
He was the tallest player on that court.
And you know where he was at? Corner. They relegated the biggest player to the. Hey, they saw him play. It was like, hey, you know what? Stand over there. Me and Satin Do-Rag gonna run a two-man game, and if they help off of it, then you got an open shot. Stand over there.
So you guys, Hawk and Fox,
Here we
ran
go.
the exact same 40 time at the combine.
Wow.
How about that?
4.34 guys.
That's crazy.
Flying.
Who's winning a race right now?
That's real speed.
Oh, Hawk is running.
Not today.
You know,
My back situation.
I can tell you.
I have not run since July.
I can't tell you who's gonna win. I'll tell you who will lose, and his name is Taylor. If we were to run a race,
3-person 100.
that Manila
don't know.
folder.
I like
colored,
Taylor, bro. Taylor's been
athlete.
I like him. Let's throw up that photo again because
All right, let's
it
see.
does. I mean, we could deduce. Is that
He's
guy in
cut.
first place?
What
Is
we
that guy in first
deducing?
place?
He's cut.
Or is that an official at the very back?
No, hold on. I can guarantee you that Jason is not in second place. So if you're telling me that Taylor's in first place, that means Jason is second place. Yeah. He's all the way on the most inner lane, right? Taylor's on the most inside lane. And Jason, so this is 7-8 territory. We're looking at
Not
Taylor
in
got
last
7th
place.
place.
Unless he's being lapped.
I'm telling you, he could be getting like second place in like Heat 3.
And that's fine.
Yeah,
but he
that's
was also
fine,
on
but
the
at the
football
end-
team. So he's a two-sport athlete
Well,
at North Carolina,
Yes.
He was.
Yes.
which is factual.
Yeah, it's factual.
That's factual. So it's not like he was putting everything into
See,
track.
the tough thing is, you said he's a sport athlete at Carolina 3 days after I ran into Julius Peppers in Colorado. You want to talk about a
That's a
two-sport
two-sport
athlete.
athlete.
How dare you put Taylor in the same conversation
He's on the medal stand.
as, huh?
Yeah. you got
Ronald
Julius
Curry?
Peppers, Ronald Curry, Taylor Vipolis.
3.
Julius Peppers, bad. I feel like Julius Peppers and like Myles Garrett, like guys like that, it's a different category of human.
Yeah.
Like you
No,
were
he
talking
is.
about phylums earlier. That's a phylum that Taylor don't need to get nowhere near.
Are we counting Michael Jordan as a Tar Heel two-sport athlete?
What other sport did he play?
Baseball, but not for the
it's
school.
after, yeah, it
No,
doesn't
that
count.
doesn't. No.
He didn't play for their baseball team, right?
I don't think so. Maybe he did.
No, we're not giving him the two-sport. He has
Taylor's
everything else.
So Taylor's a better two-sport athlete than Michael Jordan.
in North Carolina history, for
No,
sure.
he's not. He is not.
The ceiling is the roof.
He's certainly more accomplished.
Maybe Marion Jones? Didn't she do track and
Oh
basketball
yeah,
at
she
UNC?
did. Yeah, that's a
pretty-
good one.
You're
That's
off the medal stand now,
That's an
Taylor.
incredible athlete.
But you're still on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
You know what Taylor does around here? One of his most important jobs, boldest take.
I was just thinking about the boldest take. Can we get it? I've heard Dan give the listeners a lot of hell about how bad this stuff is. I actually really like it.
I think the last few weeks they brought it strong. The Boost Mobile boldest take from the weekend is presented by Boost Mobile, the newest 5G network in the country. So let's see what they got this week.
We should not be making not dishwasher safe products anymore. I'll hang up and listen.
Hey, this is Richard. I just got out of a lunch with my sister-in-law. Bold take. You get one basic modification to your meal. After that, you're an You say, hey, no pickle or no onion, add tomato, whatever the heck. You get one. Anything after one, you're a piece of
My boldest take from the weekend is that the Tootsie Roll song is way more popular than the Tootsie Roll candy.
Provolone cheese is the superior all-purpose sandwich cheese. Put it on a cheeseburger, cold turkey sandwich. It goes with any kind of sandwich.
Hey, this is Jeremy from Auburn. I'm going to do Bobby from King of the Hill Limited Fake.
Dad!
Yeah, this is Jahan from Oklahoma, and I'm just going to say, quit calling it a luncheon. It's just a lunch. Get over yourself.
Deep dish pizza is closer to lasagna than it is to real pizza.
To William from Winter Park, and this is my limited fake Mickey Mouse.
Oh, boy!
Hey there, it's Bobby from Arizona. I was looking at some very early pre-draft rankings of players, and I was wondering how in the hell Rutgers has two players that are expected to be picked in the top 5 in the NBA draft, yet somehow they managed to have a 15-17 record this year in the Big Ten.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's not the only one asking that question.
It's a damn good question.
I am done with luncheon. Like, why do we call it a luncheon?
Yeah, I don't.
It's just lunch.
I mean, there has to be some
even
reason.
Spelled right.
Yeah, there has to be some reason why
Should
they
be lunch in, like dine in.
It's a French word or something. Is that what it is? That is one of the easiest ways to get a laugh in the history of the world.
Yeah.
Is doing a French accent. Oh, it's great. I don't mean it as a judgment. It's perfect. I've never not laughed when someone honed on the end of their phrase.
Well, I mean, Kenan Thompson literally made a career out of it, as Pierre Escargot.
We don't speak of that. We don't speak that name.
Sorry.
You're bringing up game 1 shit.
My bad.
We're on game 2.
We can't learn from it.
Did you turn on Keenan because of yesterday?
No, I love Keenan. I'm just joking.
No, we never turned.
Keenan and Kel, such a good show.
I didn't even get into that. I was
Really?
like letting him like push where he wanted to go.
Wow.
I wanted to list my favorite Keenan sketches. I wanted to do impersonations, but I didn't want to disrespect him.
Call him up. Get him back on. You think? Get him back
He'd be
on.
willing.
Do it.
Yeah, I think he seemed like he
No,
enjoyed
he's not coming on.
He's like, that standard there
After
still?
Mike disrespected Gerd the way that he did to end the interview.
In the interview, you said something negative about Gerd.
No, I was like, I wanted to say Gerd. It was funny, and I thought, let me try to make it lighter. I'm like, did you ever think you'd go from, being a teenager on all that to doing media hits about Gerd?
That also implies that you failed at life, too.
No,
I won't
he took it
stand
that
for
way.
it. I
meant it wow, you've been in entertainment for so long. Like that'll tell you you're hitting 40, right?
I will not stand for the Mike disrespect because
It's not Mike disrespect.
I mean, not disrespect.
I was standing for the
Mike-
disrespect.
Literally, I will not sit for the Mike criticism because, as we established, I couldn't get the ball up the court, and Mike was not expecting to have to get the ball. He was trying, so that's on me. We've accepted accountability for that a number of times.
Yes.
But lasagna, deep dish pizza, accurate take, right? Like lasagna, deep dish pizza is delicious, but it's weird calling it pizza because it is much closer to lasagna than it is.
But it
to
has all the
pizza.
fixins.
Disagreed.
Yeah, still, I mean, that's like lots of different foods have the same components, but it doesn't. If you put them together differently, they become a different.
You're talking
food.
about like a wrap and salad.
Yeah. Like you don't call a salad wrap, you call it a wrap.
Salad sandwich.
They do call them Caesar wraps, so.
Yeah. Caesar.
Is a Caesar wrap a salad?
Caesar, no.
Makes
Caesar,
you think.
No, Caesar wrap's a Caesar wrap.
What
the
is
limited
Caesar's
fix-
connection to that salad? Has anybody figured that out?
I assume it's the dressing. They probably invented or originated the dressing. Also, how did Caesar get the haircut? Get a fresh Caesar?
Yeah, there's a lot of
It's
things going on.
Those are the biggest influences in the history of the empire. Is dressing and
I feel like we had a
shape-ups.
nice lead in this third quarter. And
We're still up. No,
we're still up. But,
no, we're
cut it down to single digits.
We're moving the ball around. We're killing clock.
We took a little
last
reprieve.
shot.
Wait till y'all see this fourth quarter, though.
The Caesar salad, a beloved dish, originated in Tijuana, Mexico at Caesar Cardini's restaurant in 1924.
Yep. So it has nothing to do
with Julius Caesar.
Nah.
Yes.
Hey, audience, it's that time of year where everyone is debating who the number one pick is going to be. Well, let me tell you something that is undebatable. Who the world's number one vodka is. That is Smirnoff. And as fun as it is to debate whether or not the team with the number one pick goes pass rusher, wide receiver, quarterback, one thing that we all know is we're going with Smirnoff as our number one vodka pick. Isn't that right, Dano? Smirnoff rules! Smirnoff rules! So while you're over there hosting your draft parties, one thing in particular you need. Well, there's two things that you absolutely need. The draft on TV, that's a must. But number two, what is it, Dano?
Smirnoff!
Do you like Dano?
Support the people who support us. Smirnoff supports us. I like Smirnoff. I don't like Dano.
And thanks to Smirnoff, God Bless Football is doing their first ever watch-along live stream in front of a live audience in Nashville, Tennessee. Join God Bless Football during round 1 of the draft on the Batard Show YouTube channel on April 24th. More details to come. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff, number 21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age.
Woohoo!